welcome back to Build Optimus Prime. This will be the last part of Pack 6. This one is going to be heavily edited because we're basically rinsing and repeating everything we did for the other foot. So to start with, we've got parts 6-07 and 08, and we're going to mount those together with 4 3x8mm PM bolts with 4 6-28 washers. So we've seen this once already, so I think we'll jump ahead to once I'm finishing the last bolt. And so now we've got those two locked together. Again, you want that as fitted as tightly as possible, because again, we don't want this to loosen up when moving the joints. Speaking of the joints, next we're going to bring in joint 6-21 and mount that in place with 2 more 3x8mm PM bolts with 2 more 6-28 washers. And once again, I think we'll just cut till after I've finished installing them. Okay, so with that done, then we're going to bring in part 6-09. Again, you want to make sure the orientation of this is correct. It can only go one way. And then we're going to mount that down with 2 more 3x8mm PM bolts with 2 6-28 washers. And since we've seen this before, I think I'll come back after or for the next step. So next we're going to bring in part 6-03 and one of the 6-16s, and then we're going to mount that to our assembly with 4 more 3x8mm PM bolts with 4 more 6x28 washers, or 6-28 washers. Deal, I'll be back for the next step so you don't have to watch this exact same thing again. And with this assembly complete, then we're going to move on, and now it's time for our old friend, the LED wire. So we're going to feed the wire through that hole and head towards the front of the foot. So if you remember the last episode, I'm not going to tighten that or even try to get it to the right length. We will take care of that in one fell swoop once we install the toe. For the next step, we're going to bring in part 6-11 and mount that down with 4 2.3x6mm PB screws. So you want to make sure you got it oriented properly, and you want to make sure that neither end of the wire is caught or being pinched. Because your time is as valuable as mine, we're going to jump ahead till I've finished the other 3 screws. Again, that piece is plastic attaching to metal, so you don't want to over tighten it and risk splitting the plastic. But with that complete, then we're going to bring in part 6-02 and 2 more 6-16s. And then that's going to fit together with, surprise, surprise, 4 more 3x8mm PM bolts with 4 more 6-28 washers. So again, I just have the wire in this position. Now you'll notice I didn't fully tighten down the black arch piece just to make this easier to adjust. So anyhow, I'll get the bolts and then we'll go from there. And with that done, Next, we're going to bring in our front foot assembly from the first episode, and we're going to go ahead and connect that wire to the LED. Make sure it's oriented correctly where it slides right in, nice and smooth. So I didn't tighten this all the way up, but I also didn't leave it loose enough. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen it just a bit more till I can move the wire until I'm happy with the length of the wire. Again, you don't want it pulled tight, but you also don't want a bunch of extra wire just hanging around in there. And then it'll just dock together like so. And before we do anything, battery box, test board, we're going to make sure everything's working. Again, because it's better to do this now than at a much later state when it can't be fixed. As we can see, we got light, we're good. Get that tester out of there, and then we're going to marry these together with 4 more 3x8mm PM bolts with 4 6-28 washers on them. But before that, we're going to go ahead and tighten the black piece back up. We're going to flip this. This time I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to flip it on its side. And hey, look at that. My camera work's improving. Alright, anyhow, so same deal as before. We'll come back after these are installed. So we're going to put the foot out the way and then start the heel assembly again. So we're going to need part 6-06 and that assembly that we made in the first video. And we're going to mount them together with 2 2x6mm PWM screws. Then we're going to take our heel, drop it on, and then we're going to marry it together with 4 3x12mm PM bolts with 4 6-28 washers. Okay, and no need to reinvent the wheel or keep explaining what I've done this whole video, so see you when we're finished. Alright, and with that done, we have his feet done, and that is pack 6 done. So before we go, I think we're going to do an electronics test to make sure everything's still working. In the meanwhile, thanks for watching. Check out my fantasy story, King of Mercenaries on Fiction Press. See you for the next video.